Hi everyone, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Albums, and I'm going to show you more of my travel journal. I left off on this page. We had been in Austin and we went and saw this troll. These trolls are made by a guy named Thomas Dembo. I think he lives in Norway. There are trolls throughout the country, but the sad thing is, a week or 2 weeks after we saw this troll, somebody burnt it down. And it just goes to show how fleeting things are. You might see something and then the next week, like we had gone to Arches a couple of years ago, and there were some arches that had recently fallen. People who had seen them the year before were the last people to see them. You just never know when something is going to be gone. Things are fleeting. Life is fleeting, and oh well. Anyhow, so this is where I left off. A little bit about myself. I am Debbie. I do mini albums mostly on my channel, but I also am keeping a travel journal to show people where I've been. I live, I travel, and I craft in my RV. So, since we left Austin, we went to Kerrville, stayed with my wonderful sister-in-law and brother-in-law, played with their two gorgeous pups, and just visited for a while. They're the pups inside the fence. So from Kerrville was, you're thinking probably, what? I've heard that name. Kerrville's in Texas. It's in the hill country. It's a beautiful area. But it was the site of some horrific flooding almost a year ago. And we could still see signs of the flooding. I mean, it was awful. After we left Kerrville, we traveled through New Mexico, through the rest of Texas, through New Mexico. We passed through Roswell. We did not choose to stop this time just because we had a lot of travel to do. Of course, you saw little green Martians all over. There were lots of spaceships all over. This was in a seven something coffee shop. You guys know what I'm talking about. It was right there where you order the coffee, and I just thought it was so cute. So anyhow, I cut that out. Then we stayed in a town called Big Spring. There is one big spring. The water doesn't look so pretty, but I imagine 100 years ago, when settlers were first finding it, it was a pretty spring. It's a good place to get fresh water. And there was fun things to do. There was a great museum that we saw, some hiking. It just was a real pretty area. So that was Big Spring, Texas. And then we went back to New Mexico. We sort of were flopping borders and went to Santa Fe. Santa Fe was a fun city. I hadn't been there before, and now I'm wondering why. There was this one staircase in a church. They say it's an architectural anomaly because it's made without nails. There's nothing holding it up or whatever. We went to the New Mexico History Museum, and that's always fun to do. I like history museums. We hiked around Bandelier National Monument. So at Bandelier, there are these kivas, houses that the ancients made and lived in, and they're so well constructed, even though they might be 1,000 years old, you still can see the remnants of it, and I always enjoyed that. There are these trails in this, I don't know if you can see the picture, in the stone, so it's really porous. It's volcanic. It's very porous, and these trails that we hiked in, they were like a foot and a half deep. So it was really cool hiking in these trails. So anyhow, we did that. Went to the state capitol. The state capitol had really cool art. I didn't show you a lot of the art. This bison was made from garbage, I guess. I don't know. These are paintbrushes. I know you can't see them from here. That is a camera lens. That's just horn made of newspaper. There's nails and pennies and all sorts of things that the artist made this out of. The fun thing about that is New Mexico's state capitol is the only round capitol building in the U.S., and so that was fun to see. There was Bauhaus was an artist, and he did all these prints, and they had an old printing press. So anyhow, it was fun to do. We boondocked at a casino. They allow space for people to stay overnight without hookup. So we stayed there for 3 days and then said, you know what, there's still more to see in Santa Fe. So we stayed for a couple more days. Went to a great farmer's market there, got some delicious vegetables, and it was fun. After we left New Mexico, we went to Colorado. I took a picture of this sign. It says, "Welcome to colorful Colorado." And I just thought it was funny because there was nothing colorful about it. And, I mean, there was browns in a blue sky. But I'm sure at other times of the year it is pretty. We stopped in a place called Sterling. And Sterling is, I don't know if they're known for, but it was a cross path of trails. The Overland Trail went through that area. The Overland Trail followed, what was the river? I'll think of it in a second. But it was made because of the gold rush instead of the Oregon Trail. As we left that area, we were traveling and went past Cabela's World Headquarters. And there was this monument. I know it's a terrible picture. It just looks like a silhouette, but it was of the Pony Express. And I'm always mesmerized by the Pony Express. I remember hearing about it in school, but I guess it wasn't until I started traveling that I realized the Pony Express was extremely short-lived. It probably didn't last for more than 2 years. Probably was a year and a couple of months. Then we went to a recreation area called Angostura. Just a real pretty man-made reservoir. It was just a spot to stay for a little bit before we headed on. There was a sign as you drove into the park that says "Caution Rattlesnake Country." And that is it. I'm just trying to catch you up to date. I've got more pictures because we did go to Mount Rushmore, Crazy Horse, Custer, and Deadwood. So those pictures are coming up. I haven't printed them out. I just wanted to sort of let you guys know what neck of the woods I was at and where we've been traveling and where we're going. And just show you a little bit of my travel journal. In the beginning, I thought this was going to be a work of art. I was going to be drawing and painting and doing all sorts of colorful things. Well, let me tell you, I'm happy that I get pictures in and write something in there for a couple of days. But that's okay. You know, there might be days that later on in the year that I have time to add some artwork. But I just think it's important to put something down. I have a friend we're traveling with, and I gave her a blank journal and said, you know, even if you don't print out pictures, just take brochures. Like, that's from a brochure. Just cut apart brochures and glue it in, you know, ticket stubs and that kind of thing, and just glue it in, and you can add pictures later on. So anyhow, that is what I wanted to show you today, real quick, catching you up to date, and that is it. Thank you so much for watching. I will get back to more videos on paper crafting probably in a couple of days. Thanks so much for watching, and have a fabulous day.